right, welcome. We got a great episode for everybody today. Amazing story. We got a special guest, Jamie, who has been a member with us at Pulse since 2020, and she has had plenty of ups and downs in her lifetime with her health and wellness journey. So we are just going to dive right in, Jamie, and welcome.
Hey, so excited to be here with you.
So Jamie's been, like I said, she originally got here. She worked out with Kelsey, who's no longer a coach here. She's worked with me, and then now, most recently, she's been working with Tina in her transformation program. So
hmm
I'm going to kind of pass this off to Jamie and Tina for the most part, since they've been working together the most. And we're going to get to hear Jamie's story, which is an amazing story, and I think everybody's going to enjoy it and take something from it. So,
Hope so.
Tina, I will pass it over to you.
Okay, great. So,
Hey, Brian.
welcome, Jamie. Thank you for
Thanks,
doing
Sarah.
this. Thank you for agreeing to come on here and share your story. I originally asked you to do this because I know that your journey has been full of such success, but also struggle. And I think that sharing this with other people is really going to help someone. So, just keep that in mind as we work through this today because it's truly going to reach somebody out there, and that's what makes me the most excited about this for
Same.
everyone out there listening. We want to get to know Jamie and all about her. So I'm going to just start with how I met you, Jamie, because
Okay.
we did a running group. You started working out at Pulse in 2020, like Jeff said, and then in 2021 we opened up a running group where we were going to have some ladies go from a couch to a 5K, and you signed up for it with excitement about, you had said that running was something that you were interested in doing. And also at the same time, Jeff had mentioned to me that you had been struggling with nutrition. So if you can, let's kind of go back to that 2021 time, early 2021. I remember that you were following a certain diet plan,
hmm
and I think you were having some success with it, but it was also starting to fade. So why don't you kind of pick up there with
Okay.
2021 and what was going on?
Yeah, so in 2021, I had met a girl that was doing Optavia. So that was a very low calorie diet that consisted of just bars through the day. And if I remember correctly, it was bars and like some prepackaged like food. And then you would have one meal a day that consisted of like lean. It was called the lean and green meal, if I remember, where it consisted of like a certain, you had to have a certain amount of vegetables and lean protein with it. And yes, I was successful. I lost about 40 pounds, but at that time, but it was hard. I felt lethargic. It was hard to work out because I was so malnourished.
Yeah.
Even though I was losing weight, I was malnourished and not having the energy.
Yeah. So I remember that. And when we started talking, you were kind of phasing out of that. And one
hmm
of the things that we were just talking about at the time, and not necessarily working on, but we were just talking about introducing food back into your world that wasn't bars or prepackaged.
hmm
And that was a big struggle. So fast forward a little bit, how long did you keep the 40 pounds off?
Not as soon as I quit, it probably came right. I want to say pretty quickly. Yeah, I mean, you lost it really fast, but you again were eating so little calories. I'm really surprised that I lost that much weight now, knowing what I know, because I feel like the more I eat, the more I lose now. So I'm kind of surprised by that. But yeah, no, I was. What did you say again?
No, I just said, like, how long did you keep it off? And
Oh yeah,
you
not
were
long
like,
at all.
I didn't.
Not long. Yeah, I
And
mean within
then,
I want to say within 6 months I was probably back up.
okay, so then that puts us probably sometime in 2021, like late 2021. What kind of
hmm
struggles did you continue to have once you stopped that diet? Where was your mindset at? Where were your struggles at? What was the biggest hurdle that you were facing in trying to get something rolling with your nutrition and your health?
Well, I wanted to lose it just as fast as I did the first time with Optavia, but with incorporating other food and obviously just eating food. Well, I wasn't doing the right things. I was a restrictive eater, so therefore I would eat something one day and then I would be like, oh, well, I need to not eat that for this day. So it was just like one day I would eat well, the next day I would restrict more. And it kept repeating itself that if I didn't want to eat bread, I didn't want to eat, I mean, for God's sakes, I thought too many bananas would make me gain weight. It was just ridiculous, just the amount of restriction I did, which then caused me to then want to binge eat or eat all of that in one time, because I was restricting that so much that that's all I wanted. So yeah, I would binge eat, then not eat, and then binge eat, and then not eat. And it was just a constant cycle of all of the diets that I ever did in my head. It was just so much that I couldn't just break it down into one simple formula.
Yeah. So I'll just ask you, what did that feel like to be stuck in that cycle? Like, where were your feelings at around that? Like, where did the frustration lie?
It was, I was very defeated. I was very frustrated that it felt like I felt like I was doing the right things, but obviously I wasn't. I was just so frustrated and just so mad at myself because I felt like it's something that I should be able to control, and I wasn't able to control it. It was just mind-numbingly frustrating, and I just was upset all the time. And then I would get so pissed off that I would just be like, screw it, and then eat all the things I wanted to eat and then feel guilty the next day. But that would be another cycle too, that I would screw up one day and the rest of the week would be screwed up and I'll start again on Monday.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's pretty common. We hear that a lot.
Yeah.
One thing I want to highlight though, in 2021, you did join that running group and you did start working on running. And are you still a runner today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I did a marathon last year.
Yeah. So even within that struggle of frustration, you found you had an outlet in there that you were still working on, which is a huge win, right?
Right.
Still frustrated about the nutrition and weight loss, but you had become a runner. And so you and I had continued to work closely together. And then, Jeff, when do you think we started working on the accountability program? Was that around 2022 then?
Yeah, I started working on it and then kind of launched it in 2023. I believe.
You might have froze for a second.
I know, it's freezing.
So 2023 is when we officially kind of launched it, isn't it, Tina?
Yeah, 2023 we officially launched it, but
I don't know that either.
Yeah, 2022 was kind of like our test pilot. We were working on figuring out where the next piece went, and that's where Jamie and I really connected because she started working with me in what was just our first accountability program, which then morphed into the transformation program.
Yep.
So Jamie, let's kind of get up then. So that puts us, I do know that was late in 2022. I remember talking with you after a run group. You were frustrated. You felt at your wit's end. I remember, I heard it. I heard you. I could hear you talking. And I said, hey, let's sit down. Let's figure some things out. And that's where you and I connected through starting working on your path that still is happening right now. But that's when we started, was late 2022. So we started working together. Do you remember the beginning stages of that?
Oh yeah.
So tell me about your experience and your view from when we first started. So
I was very excited to actually get started with something and someone that I thought actually could finally help me. And it was exciting and I loved it. I still love it, but it was, I remember checking those boxes and doing all the things and still not seeing success. And I remember about 20 times wanting to stop what we were doing and leave the program because it obviously wasn't going to work for me. I had every excuse in the world, to my age, to
hormones.
What?
Hormones, age.
Yeah, hormones. I thought it was, I just thought it should have came off as easily as it did before. doing all of those other things. And to be honest with you, I probably was still restricting a lot and probably was doing my old habits, but getting in maybe the fruits and vegetables you told me to, but not being really conscious of the other choices that I was making. If I were now looking back on my old self, probably saying, no, I wasn't doing all of the things that I'm doing now to be successful, but thinking that I was.
Yes, I remember that. I remember those conversations. You were very vocal that you were doing all the things. You assured me you were doing all the things. And I remember you, like you said, you thought there was just something wrong with you and this just wasn't going to be possible for you. I remember a pretty significant turning point in your journey. You might remember this too, and Jeff might even remember this because it was a conversation I had with Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
And then that turned into a conversation I had with Jamie. And so I'll just share that briefly. I went to Jeff and I said, I don't know if I can help her. I'm not sure I'm doing the right things. I think I'm letting her down.
I remember that.
And Jeff very wisely gave me some great advice, and he said, share that with her. You
'Cause I
remember
felt
that
like I was
conversation,
letting you
Jeff?
down.
Yep, I remember it. Like, yeah, you just have to share her, let her know how you feel, and you might be surprised as to how she responds to that. Freezing up a little bit.
Is he frozen?
I think he might be.
There we go. You're
Okay.
good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, like I said, I remember the conversation, and you told me how you felt, and that you didn't, weren't sure you were able to help her. And like I said, tell her how you feel about it, and you might be surprised if she doesn't start taking some serious ownership when you have that conversation.
Yeah. Yep, that's exactly right. And I had that conversation with Jamie. I think we both shed some tears in the office that day and in the principal's office here at the gym. And she then thought she was letting me down. So, Jamie, take it from there. Something clicked, something changed that day. There was momentum that was built. What did you take away from that, and how did you use it to move forward?
I was just so upset that you felt that way because I felt that I was letting you down, and I think that was a real turning point for me because it was just it just got to me. It just got to my heart that I was like, she really is trying to help me, and I need to get my mind around what she's saying and quit trying to fight it. Quit trying to fight the process. It's an easy process, but for some reason, I made it extremely hard. It doesn't need to be that hard. So I just wrapped my head around the fact that you can do this. You have the help of Tina, Jeff, Josh, all of them. Why am I not using that to my advantage and listening to actually what you have to say and quit fighting it and get my mind right? And I think that was the number one thing, was wrapping my head around the fact is that I do not need to restrict food from my life. It is a fuel for my body. It is something that I have to be able to work out, to be able to run, to be able to do all the things that I want to do, get great sleep, do all the things. So I think that once I wrapped my mind around the fact is that you need nutrition, and it's okay to eat all the things that you want, but just incorporate the things that we need along with that, and you will be successful. And even though I was eating, I was losing actually more weight eating than not eating. And I think that turned me around too. Like, hey, I'm eating all of this food. I feel satisfied, and I'm still accomplishing the goals that I want. Am I losing 40 pounds in 6 months? Absolutely not. But it's been almost like 10 or 11 months now, and I've lost that. And I'm doing it slower, and it feels good. It just feels great to be eating and feeling satisfied rather than before, when I felt so lethargic and not eating and having my head all wrapped up in don't eat bread, don't eat bananas, don't eat apples, eat apples. Like it was just all of the diets combined into one in my brain. And now it's just one thing, and I love it. And I listened to what you had to say and not fight it anymore.
Yeah. Do you remember my analogy about building your house?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, you can't decorate without having the house built first. And I absolutely wanted to decorate because that's the fun stuff. I didn't want to have to work hard at it.
Yeah. Um, so when things started clicking, you set another goal for yourself, and that was to run a half marathon. That was a goal that you had told me about in 2021 when you joined the Couch to 5K program that we did.
Yep.
So I want you to share with everybody about that. Like, so you decided you wanted to run the half marathon. Things were clicking. Tell us about your experience with that.
Yeah, it was great. Actually, no. I mean, that was actually really terrible running all that at first.
Hey, at least you're being honest here. Be honest, but tell us
Right,
about,
all of
tell
that
us about
training
it.
was very daunting, but I had the stamina to do it to some degree. I did walk and run. I did enjoy that, but fitting that into my lifestyle too, I thought was something I could never do. Working out with my busy life and working out 2 days a week plus the run group on Wednesday, Saturday. I thought adding another day of running or whatnot to that schedule on top of everything else, I thought would be impossible. It wasn't. I made time for that. We talked about the days I would do it, what worked out the best for me, and I did it. And I worked it in almost every week, and it wasn't difficult to do. It really wasn't. You make time for what is important to you. You will make time for it if it's something that is important to you and that you want to do. You absolutely will. And it's not difficult to do once you think about it.
Yeah.
You have so many hours in the day.
One thing I keep hearing you say today is it's not hard. It's
Oh, I
not,
know.
it's easy. And I love that because in 2021, did you think it was hard?
Yeah. It still is. I don't want to make it sound like it's like easy peasy because it's still a conscious thought every day. You still have to make that effort into what your day looks like, what your week looks like, the food that you're planning to take to your kids' sporting events and things like that. It's not hard once you plan for it, but if you don't plan for it, it's quite difficult.
Yeah, and so that being said, would you say that going through the program and the transformation program has taught you how to have a plan that makes it easy?
Absolutely. And it helped change my mindset around food.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the most important. I think, without a doubt, that is the most important thing is the mindset around food. Food is not bad. It's not bad. You need to have it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you just said about your mindset, though, because a lot of people might ask you, Jamie, what did you eat to lose weight? Or Jamie, what did you do to do this? But I think what you just said is exactly what you did. You got your mindset in the right place
Right.
to then do all the things that were important to you.
Right. And guess what? I still eat the ice cream every now and then, or I still do this, but instead of a large, I eat a small. And it doesn't continue for the entire night. It doesn't continue for the entire week. It's just a treat. As long as, you make sure and make your choices that you're still eating good food like 90% of the time, you can still have your treats and incorporate those into your lifestyle, and you're still going to be okay. It's not one ice cream that's going to have you gain your weight.
Or bananas.
Or bananas. I mean, I think that was really impactful too when you told me that. Like, really, do you think bananas, like if you ate 20 bananas, are you going to gain weight? No.
Yeah, I mean, but we are surprised at some of the food. I mean, there are a lot of food labels out there that scare us, and people get scared of eating certain foods. Jeff, you know this. I mean, we get this a lot with people are like, oh, I can't have too much of this.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can. You can.
Jamie, I got a quick question for you, because
Yeah.
this entire time that, when you were struggling, when you first started working with Tina, I knew what the solution was. I knew that you weren't eating enough. And I've
Right.
seen it happen with so many people. And every time I brought it up to you, you were very resistant about it. Very
Absolutely.
like, no, that can't be the way because everything I've ever been told is move more, eat less. Move more, eat less. That's the way. There's no way eating more is actually my solution. And so my question to you is, how long did it take you to really wrap your head around that is actually the solution?
How long? I mean, it wasn't quick. I would say I'm still wrapping my head around it until, I mean, I talked to Josh about nutrition and food, and he said, give it a try. Tell me, because I was still eating pretty low then too, but I met with Josh, and he said, give it a try. Eat this many calories and do this and eat this and see what happens. And I think I stayed the same or lost a pound, and I was like, huh, I ate all that food and I still was okay. And I continue now to eat that much food. I don't eat just 3 meals a day. I have snacks in there. And Josh even told me I could have a little more fat in my diet, which I thought was ridiculous. But it wasn't. You know, all of those things add up to a healthy lifestyle that help you um, get the strength and energy that you need to work out, to just do your daily life. You have to have food.
Yeah, nice. That's just the biggest struggle that we see. So many people, I know people out there are having that same struggle and
Yep.
probably maybe never even heard the idea that they need to eat more. So, that's the part that
Well,
I
and
really
you
want people to take from this.
like someone who's overweight thinks that sounding that you would say like eating more, that you eat so little food that you're not losing weight sounds ridiculous. I mean, doesn't it? Like,
It
I mean,
sounds ridiculous.
I know. Like, I'm like, oh, so I'm the only big girl in the world that cannot eat anything and still not lose weight. I mean, I just think that was the hardest thing. I mean, that is the hardest obstacle for anyone going through a lifestyle change like that is eating more food. It just, I mean, I just think it's so hard to believe that. It's so hard until you see it.
Yeah, and again, like we've worked with a ton of people, and this is their number one issue a lot of times. So many people get into the weight loss journey and they instantly go to eat less, move more, and then they don't see the result, and they just kind of say, "F it." Like, what was the point of this? And they can't understand that they probably cut their caloric intake way too low,
Right.
fell into the same trap of being frustrated like you.
Yeah, I said F it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot, right, Tina? I mean,
I remember.
I was so pissed.
Um,
So
so
pissed.
sitting here now, just, I mean, over the past year, a little over a year or right at a year, things are really picking up for you. As you said, you're still learning, and I love that because if we ever think that we get somewhere, we stop trying to go anywhere else. So I'm hearing you just vocalize, like, I'm still, like when Jeff said, like, how long did it take? Just like, well, I'm still working on it. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, how is it impacting your life right now? Like, what are the changes that you see that are new to you that you're like, I can't believe I'm doing this. These are things that are easier for me, better for me. Where does it all reach?
So, I mean, just recently, I mean, I could probably come up with 100 examples, but just recently, like last night, Reagan had volleyball at 6:15 in Belleville. I had to leave at 5 o'clock. I knew I wasn't going to get any food in before I left because of work and everything that I was preparing. So I made myself a little cracker, and I had turkey and cheese, and I had some grapes and olives, and that was my little meal. Oh, and
Your little mini charcuterie?
yeah, I had a mini charcuterie in a bowl that I took with me with water. And so I had something to snack on. If I did get hungry, I would have normally, absolutely, without a doubt. And I still don't think there's anything wrong with that. If I wanted to have a pretzel or something at the concession stand, I would have, but I didn't feel it was necessary for last night. It was fine. I could bring my own things. So I did. Brought that, and the other day at work, I had about 15 minutes left. I knew the rest of my week was going to be pretty hectic trying to get a walk in. So I had 15 minutes and I walked it, even though in my brain I think a mile or so I have to walk. I don't. You just have to get some kind of movement in, which is what you told me. So at work Monday, I think, or Tuesday, I walked that 15 minutes instead of sitting on my butt looking at my phone. I got up and did a walk. which I was super proud of. And I continue to do that too. Like if I go to a sporting event, I always have my snacks in. So I have no problem bringing along nutritious things for me to eat. And then guess who's eating them too? My kids.
Yeah, which is a big win.
Yeah, so yeah, instead of the junk that we did at the concession stand, they're eating what I brought.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where else does it show up? Like, does it show up like when you guys are traveling? You guys are big summertime campers. Like, has it changed more of the activities that you guys are all doing together? And
yeah, it started with we just snack on chips and all the things. Now I bring fruit and I bring a turkey sandwich or something like that for us to eat. I still do eat some chips in there, but they're better nutritious chips that I make sure I'm getting some kind of nutrition. Instead of just eating a chip to be eating a chip, I want to make sure that it's got something a little nutritious in it, but still delicious. And then guess who's eating all my fruit? My kids and the other people that are around us.
yeah, so you got to bring extra for everybody.
I know. So it's so funny to me that I thought in my brain that these people were going to think I was weird or think that I would look silly bringing all these things, and now they're eating it. And they're like, this is a great idea. So, you know, you can still incorporate it into all of your, there's always going to be parties, there's always going to be camping adventures, there's always going to be vacations, God willing, but you just have to make sure that you have your checklist and your brain right. And Tina's always in my head, or Jeff's in my head about like what should I eat, and let's make a better choice. You know, life's about choices. But you can still enjoy those things too, just not 90% of the time like I used to.
Yeah. I think I have another question that I want to make sure I ask you is I want to know what kind of future goals that you have for yourself.
My future goals is just to continue on my journey the way it is. I would like to run another half marathon this time, but to not maybe walk as much. I would like to run more, maybe a little bit faster. But as far as I used to have weight loss goals, and now, I mean, that's still there, but I feel pretty good in my own skin right now. So I'm good with wherever the journey takes me as far as that goes.
So do you have a good plan in place then that you can fall back on anytime?
Anytime.
That you can do it anytime, all the time, forever?
Forever. And that checklist is always in my head. Like, you need to do this. You need to have your fruit in today. Like last night I was like, oh gosh, I need to get another vegetable in, so I cut up cucumbers, you know. So, you know, like, it's important to have those points and those something to remember that you have to have, instead of just trying to constantly just live by the seat of your pants. You know, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. You need someone.
We know it doesn't work.
Yes.
But we still try to do it anyway.
You need people like yourselves to definitely. It does take a big process, though. It's not going to happen overnight. It definitely will not.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's a mind thing. I think that most overweight people, it's such a mind thing, and I really think it's like an illness. Like, I think it's like something that it's just so hard to get your head wrapped around all the things. And you have so many different people telling you so many different things, and just focus on Tina or Jeff, and, you know, that's what you need to focus on, what they're telling you, not what the outside world is telling you.
So Jamie, what would you tell to somebody that was maybe on the fence about trying our transformation program?
What would I tell them?
Yeah.
I would say that make it a priority for yourself. Do this. This is important for you. This is important for your life. If you continue on the path of eating the way that you're eating, and you're overweight, you're unhealthy, you've got to stop that cycle. And you can have someone that can simplify it for you. Utilize them. They know what they're talking about, and they really do care and understand, and understand where you're coming from, and can work with you and make it a little more simple and not so complicated.
Awesome. Which that is perfect because that is what we are striving for with, our program is we want people to say that it's simple. This shouldn't be a stressful thing. We want it to be as easy as possible, and to hear that is amazing, and exactly what we want to hear out of our clients. So I really appreciate you sharing your story. I know it can be tough sometimes to do this, and
Oh,
Tina,
no.
do you have
Oh, no, we
any
think we
final
froze
thoughts
again.
that you want to add?
Me?
Tina, do you got anything that you want to add to your
So
last question?
you froze for a second, so we couldn't exactly hear you. So no, if we're getting ready to wrap up, I do want to thank Jamie for being brave and being honest and sharing your thoughts around what you went through and sharing your story with everybody. It's really important for us to know that we're not alone out there, and we do have a solution that can help you. So I hope that you listen to Jamie's story, and if it's something that it sounds like you are struggling with some of the things that she was, reach out to us and let us know. That's what
You
we're here
got
to
this.
do, to help.
Yeah, you got this. And if I could help one person, that's all that matters. Like, I mean, it's a lifestyle change. Get your head right. You got this. Work with them, utilize them, and you will be successful. But you have to be willing to listen, wrap your head around it.
Just this one little detail.
Just
Just
one
this little.
little, nothing big,
Minor.
nothing big.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Jamie,
Thank you.
and well, obviously we'll be seeing you soon.
I'll see you soon.
You got a lovely face. Go to your place. And now you got to break me out. Say it so loud. Get fucking late.